Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is your host, JC, Everyday Thoughts. Everyone gather around should be a good one today. I have a special guest with me tonight, Joycelyn Wells. And topic for today is going to be as far as a man offering one child something to eat, but not really offering a woman's other children anything to eat. This was something that was controversial. A lot of people was commenting on it. A lot of people were sharing it. I had posted on my Facebook page, got a lot of mixed reactions. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You read about it. So, I mean, what did you think about the whole situation?
Okay, so hey, I'm Joycelyn Wells, and thank you for having me again. I really enjoy our conversations. It's tricky for me because people were talking about the obligation of the man and the role of the woman. But from my perspective and what I do and spend my life doing, I could only think about the children, the child who received and the kids who did not receive and how it affects them. So, for me, I just was looking beyond the adults to the children because I feel like as adults, we have responsibility to keep our children safe. And I just think that this was just a bad moment for the whole situation. And we know that it wasn't just that moment. There are issues leading up to it. So we know there's already rocky ground between the couple, between the mother and the dad, and we already know there's a malicious intent on both of them. So, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and that I just figured the kids would be hurt for years to come just based on the actions and the response.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, when I first read about it, when someone sent it to me, I was like, I mean, well, he's obligated to his son. I mean, I do get that. I mean, but just out of generosity, just being humble, I mean, you have to, try to feed your children. I mean, not really feed children, you got to feed the youth. I mean, youth is the greatest aspect of any kind of function, and you got to make sure they're fed. And someone was saying, I'll agree. Someone said, I mean, forget McDonald's. You should have gave her a gift card or something like, to get the kids something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like some
Right.
buy some groceries. That's one thing I would have did if I was in that position
Hmm.
because even
And
because even when I have Olivia, when she be over at my brother-in-law house and he has his children, I mean, my brother-in-law don't be like, oh well, she's not mine, so I'm not gonna cook for her tonight. He makes sure
mhm.
that she's fed, make sure his kids are fed, etc. So that's just how I was grown. That was how I was raised. As far as make sure the kids eat first, make sure that everybody, as far as children, they get fed.
The children are happy, and I think for me, because I'm older and we've established this, is that I don't know that have been in the presence of a man who didn't take care of. And as much as I love men, I have a whole business based on the fact that I do love men and I want growing men to grow and be amazing. I really just sit in reverence of. I think that's one of the qualities that make men men. Like, because you're a leader and you're a provider. And when you think of a situation going in where your child is the youngest of the kids with this mother and there are other kids with different fathers or a different dad, you create such an amazing presence when you provide for. And it also makes the other dad or dads say, well, dang, if such and such is feeding the kids, he's doing for the kids, I'm gonna do for the kids too. And it breeds a healthy space of taking care of and raising children. And I think that, that's lost because everybody wants a blame. This man wants to be obligated to only fill his kid. This woman is trying to stand up and defend her kids, all of them, and trying to make it fair. And it's like, come on, what about the kids? Like, what about the kid who gets the McDonald's? He eats the McDonald's in front of his siblings, and then later they beat the hell out of him because they didn't have any. They start mistreating him because he's special or he had something they didn't. Like, we can't control any of that. We can only just want to take care of the children. Like, that's my primary focus in anything that I do, is how do we protect our children?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, the kids come first and foremost, and that's one thing you have to realize. I mean, like I said, I mean, it may not be your children, but my thing is I've always had a saying, I know, regardless if you my blood or you're not, you still my child, you still want to be taken care of or you're underneath my care. So that's always been my mindset. Any
Right.
kind of, man, woman, need help. I mean, I'm not a person that's gonna look at a person and I need something to eat, need something to drink and just look more past them. I know I can provide something for them. I've never been that type of person.
Right. And I'm with you. Like if in my presence and I I feel like if I have somebody else has. If I have it, you have it. Like that's just how I think about the gifts that I have and what I'm able to share. So it's not like you get something and you don't. And I mean, even you talked about your role as your Olivia and her cousins. Me, I have three children and they're different ages, but they all required something different. So my oldest, when there was a celebration for her or it's a great achievement, I would take her out to do this. The middle, I would take her out to do this. My son, I would take him out. So I don't understand why dad couldn't just say, I'm picking up whatever his name is, man, or whatever his little name is. Like, I'm going to pick him up for a couple hours. We're going to go hang out. It's easier to understand than I'm going to bring you this luxury item for you to eat in front of your siblings and wreak havoc on the relationship with your siblings. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh yeah, most definitely, and also her part too. Trying to tape record it, trying to put it on, Instagram and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I mean, a lot of this stuff need to be done, for closed doors and stuff. That didn't have to be shared
It
for
did.
for us to be talking about. I mean, yeah, as far as newsworthy, if people want to talk about it, chime in on it, but I feel like that type of stuff you're supposed to keep in house. You know what I mean?
Can't. That's not the time that we live in. Everything is social media.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jonathan, what do you think about this? First, we have Roe versus Wade that's overturned, and then we have this. So we have a government saying you can no longer protect yourself from unplanned pregnancy or get an abortion. So we're saying that here you go, you're going to have these babies, and then we're having an argument on feeding the babies. Like that's sick. Like that. Like who argues about feeding a baby?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, hey, I'm not really like I said. I'm just I was just born differently as far as my parents raised me. Like just like I said, I mean, we having like two brothers. Every time we go over people's houses, they always chime in, whether you family or not. We gonna make sure the village is being fed.
Yeah,
What happened to that slogan? It takes a village. That's one
yeah,
thing. My motto was that one thing I grew up with. That's one thing parents taught me and to instill into my own children as far as the village. It's all about the village. It's
yeah,
not about one incident person. And then also too, even when kids go to school and back to school where they don't have any lunch money. I mean, I've always been the type of person that like, hey, you need $5, $10 just to get something to eat. I'm this type of person. Like I'm just very generous. I never been the type of person that I'll see someone not have nothing to eat or no kind of money, just like, oh no, you're not gonna eat today. Like
yeah.
that's not how that's just not how it was.
Raised like I'm the same way. I wasn't raised that way. Like I remember distinctly in middle school. Now we're talking early 80s. So I remember in middle school, one of my classmates was in school in sandals in the winter time. And she was all she had was sandals, even when we were in gym. And I gave her my gym shoes. Like I was like, "Here, can you wear my gym shoes? You can wear them and you can give them back later." And I was telling my mom I needed gym shoes, and she was like, well, "I just bought you gym shoes. What happened to your gym shoes?" And I explained to her like such and such only had sandals. Like she was cold, and I gave her. So I've always been that kind of giving person, and I understand that people don't exist in that space. I do. I get that, but as we get older and we become adults, we recognize the problems between us as adults should not cause trauma to the children, whatever the relationship between the mom and the dad or whoever else. Like you can't traumatize the kids. Like that's not fair.
Oh yeah, like I said, the kids first and foremost. I mean, like I said, you gotta set an example. Like I said, I'm not just gonna buy you, McDonald's or something. Buy you guys, get y'all some groceries, go to Kroger's, go to Walmart, Target. You gonna go somewhere, get your gift card so y'all can. Y'all all can get something to eat, or maybe y'all favorite restaurants you guys eat as a family or as a
Or
unit.
maybe here's some groceries. Hey, I went by the store and I got some groceries. Here's some groceries. Like even groceries, like I mean, anything. It could be a pack of ground beef and spaghetti noodles and a can of sauce. Like, hey, I got some groceries. You know, your child is going to eat. I mean, it could be anything. And I understand wanting to share the special moments, but I also understand the intention of people wanting to flex on, I got this for my child. And those things are intended to hurt. None of those things are, those things that those moments are disingenuous. So their intention is to hurt. So all this conversation behind it, honestly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed as a Black woman. I'm embarrassed as a mother. I'm embarrassed as a lover of Black men. Like, I'm embarrassed that this conversation is happening about feeding our children. Like, I'm embarrassed by it.
Oh yeah, well definitely, especially like during the holidays time, like we talked about, for like holidays and stuff, like Christmas time, Easter time, when you start giving out baskets and stuff, Christmas presents. I mean, really don't want the child, left out and stuff. I mean, you got to make sure,
Right.
because there's always discussion, once Christmas time and Easter time. Okay, well, should you buy, such and such child's parent or gifts and stuff, but like I said, to each his own. I'm always been, like I said, me personally, it's always to give, to be generous, to be thoughtful, think about the less fortunate. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just not gonna be, I'm not gonna eat food in front of you knowing that you're starving. Like that's just not how,
Right.
that's not how I was brought up.
Right.
Like I
And,
said, I mean, to each his own. I mean, like I said, he's obligated to his son. I mean, people are obligated to their children. So if you don't want to dive into that, then that's on you. But
right.
like I said, but morally, I wouldn't be able to sleep or eat
Hmm.
later on that night knowing that I can't really. I'm doing something for my child, but not really doing stuff for the people or people that's around the child at the same.
Hmm. Because you're still putting your child at risk. That's my concern. And it seems to be a thought of disconnect, like, oh, I bought this for my child, it's my child, but you're not there, so you don't know how your child is being treated. Like, you don't know what's happening in the interim. When you're not there, you don't know what effects this is having on your child. And not to mention, you're talking about a child and their siblings. This kid probably doesn't want to eat McDonald's without his siblings. Like, when you have something good happen, you want to share it with your brothers and sisters. It ain't like, I'm gonna sit here and eat this all by myself. You, at some point, you have a thought process like, well, dang, he shared this with me, and I know he likes McDonald's fries, and I know that you start thinking about the people who are you're growing with and protecting with and being with. So it's not as cut and dry as, say, the dad or the mom wants to make it. It's really deeper than that. It's really causing division in the siblings. It's causing a difficult place. And somebody mentioned, well, dad should get custody, of the son. Well, then dad should get custody of the son. No one's arguing that. If you have a way you want your child to be raised, or you have, then get custody of your son and let your child go visit mom on the weekends. Like, I mean, these things are, nobody's arguing against it, but it is, we're not damaging the children for the sake of a meal. Like, that's not fair.
Oh yeah, but like I said, anything else you'd like to add to this video?
Um, hey, I'm Joycelyn Wells. I'm the host of podcast Joy Exposed, and the whole point of my podcast is finding the goodness in people and in yourself. When joy is exposed, everything just feels better. That's how we take it there. And I'm also an author and owner of a publishing company. So plenty of stuff, very opinionated, and I'm seeking freedom. I'm not stuck in a box. So I love that Jonathan invites me to have these conversations and just to share my thoughts on them. I appreciate that, and I enjoy working with him. So that's it for me.
All right, yeah, I appreciate you, and like I said, you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You do the same. Thanks for thinking of me. I'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
All right, bye bye.